A basketball reporter named Mark Stein says the Golden State Warriors team bosses think they can still trade for a better player sometime in the next year. So everyone wants to know, who are they trying to get? They already tried to get LeBron James, Paul George, and another player named Laurie, but it didn't work out. But there's one person they might get soon, and it's not just a random guess. We've seen real signs this could happen. But what if it doesn't work out? Would Steph Curry ever leave the Warriors team? Boom. Steph deleted a Warriors player from his Instagram. This is exactly what Klay did before he left the team. Some people joke that Steph wants to play with LeBron's son, Bronny. But obviously that's silly. But what Steph actually said to reporters should make fans worried. The point is, nobody wants to see Steph end his career badly like Dirk Nowitzki or Kobe Bryant did. These amazing players stayed with bad teams at the end. They were loyal to one team, but that loyalty cost them chances to win more championships at the end of their careers. So if the Warriors think they can make a big trade, what could that trade be? I write for a living, and I know it looks like I just make videos. But if you want a good YouTube trick, it's all about the writing. Well, Grammarly is paying for today's video, and that's perfect because it's like having a smart computer friend that helps you write better in all your apps. It takes me hours sometimes to go back and forth making changes to my writing, fixing the tone. Grammarly gets it done in just a few clicks, saving all that time. It's different because Grammarly works wherever you work. No more copying and pasting like other computer helpers. Also, you get special suggestions based on who you're writing to. Like writing to your boss isn't the same as writing to your mom. But the best part is, all of this is free. Just sign up and download for free using my link, grammarly.com/amhoops. That's grammarly.com/amhoops. Well, people want to play with Steph. How could they not after the Olympics? The craziest fact I saw about that gold medal game was that Steph made for huge three-point shots in the final 2 minutes and 43 seconds. He has only done that one time in his whole career, just once out of 1,113 NBA games. We just saw the best Steph Curry ever at age 36, but he doesn't have a second-best player on the Warriors. The best they have is Andrew Wiggins on some nights, and he just disappears sometimes. I mean, some teams have one star like the Denver Nuggets, but at least Nikola Jokic has Jamal Murray, MPJ, and Aaron Gordon. All three of those guys would be the Warriors' second best player. It's embarrassing. Warriors fans say, oh, what about Jonathan Kuminga? He could be the number 2 player. He's just 21 years old. Last year, he scored 16 points per game efficiently and could potentially score 20 points per night this next season. But Steph needs a star player now, and this summer actually set them up to get one. They let go of Klay Thompson. It would have been so easy to bring him back. 9 out of 10 teams would do that. But keeping him kills the team's roster. Not paying him took courage, but what they did instead isn't being talked about much. The Warriors' main 3 new players were Buddy Hield, Kyle Anderson, and Dean. You can argue that all 3 of them are better than Klay is right now. Buddy Hield had the same exact 3-point shooting percentage last season. Both of them are average on defense at this point, but Hield won't take those crazy hero shots that Klay's been taking the last few years. Kyle Anderson is a smart player for their complicated offense, and he guarded Luka in the conference finals. De'Anthony Melton is a good 3-point shooter and defender, but they signed these guys on short contracts and didn't waste any draft picks. All they had to give up was a 2031 second-round pick swap. So, yeah, they're in position to make a trade. But who could they get? Well, Paul George went to Philadelphia and Lauri Markkanen stayed in Utah. But we learned what Golden State will give up for Lauri. They offered filler players, Moses Moody, multiple first-round picks, and multiple swaps. Yutawan Teddo Brandon, Pojemuski. But the Warriors said no. Jonathan Kuminga, though, might be available for trades, so they are willing to trade veteran players besides Steph and Draymond. Young guys, Moses Moody and Kuminga, plus all picks and swaps. So let's look at who's actually available. The Cento's second best players include Zach LaVine, Brandon Ingram, Jeremy Grant, and Jarrett Allen, who can be traded at the deadline despite his new contract. Or they could go for several role players like DeAndre Hunter, Bruce Brown, Kyle Kuzma, and Jordan Clarkson. The Warriors made sure to stay under the luxury tax, so they're free to make moves. But there is one big move we haven't mentioned yet. First, though, let's look at those other names that I said are definitely available. Zach LaVine is considered a bad contract, but he could be gotten for cheap. Remember when people were saying that about Kyrie Irving 2 years ago? Now everybody's kicking themselves who had a chance to get him. Well, Zach is an amazing offensive player who just hasn't had a chance in the playoffs. Dude's had one playoff run and lost in 5 games to Milwaukee because he's not a number 1 option. But as a number 3 player, it works. That's why I think the Lakers are a perfect fit for him behind LeBron and AD. It works. So what about Jarrett Allen for the Warriors? The Cavs re-signed him on a cheap contract, which is awesome, and they can trade him if they start the season badly. But what about this home run option? Every Olympics, stars form a friendship winning the gold medal. It's where the Miami Heat Big Three first talked about playing together, so many people wonder who talked about teaming up. Of course, everyone wants to play with Steph, but one player stands out above the rest. After USA's embarrassing loss in the FIBA World Cup, Kawhi Leonard posted anybody could be nice with the ball in their hands. But can you be cool with defending and going into the corner for some plays? Devin Booker simply tweeted, "I'll do it. The extra pass, strong defense, whatever Team USA needed." So after winning gold, Steve Kerr said to the media, "No one asked about Devin Booker. He was incredible. Our unsung MVP." Kerr wants Book on his team. He's the perfect unselfish player who doesn't get the national respect he deserves. And if the Suns continue to fall apart, Book or KD could be traded. I mean, imagine if the Suns get swept in the first round again. It would be a huge hit on KD's legacy. Dude has made it out of the first round 1 time since leaving the Warriors. So, in preparation for this, the Houston Rockets traded back the Brooklyn Nets picks to get control of the Suns' future. Udoi mediateri posted do. Houston wants to trade for Kevin Durant, but then the Suns owner laughed in Wojci's face. "This is just wrong. My turn. Phoenix loves KD, and KD loves Phoenix. We are competing for a championship this year because we have the team to do it. Go Suns." So obviously the team is not getting blown up right now, but just wait a few months. Every offseason, some team that was supposed to make the playoffs gets embarrassed and panics. So as of now, if the Suns trade their stars, it at least has to involve Houston. Phoenix needs their picks, and Houston has them. So the Warriors would need help from Book to land him in a trade. If he demanded to be traded to the Warriors, it would make things difficult for the Suns to do anything otherwise. Would have to be a 3-team deal, sending a different star to Houston. So not a guarantee and super complicated. So what if it doesn't happen? Would Steph actually leave the Bay Area? Well, he recently told ESPN, I've always said I want to be a Warrior for life. At this stage in my career, I feel that's possible, but I want to win. If it's a situation where you're a bottom feeder and it's just because you want to stay there, I'd have a hard time with that. Wow. That is as close as Steph gets to putting pressure on the front office. And I know it sounds crazy, but Clay going to Dallas opened the door for any of the big three to leave. It'll feel even more real when they actually start playing games and Clay is wearing a Dallas Mavericks uniform. But honestly, I think Steph will probably retire a Warrior. But he doesn't want the front office to think it's a guarantee. That's why he says things like this to the media. He puts just enough pressure to keep them on their toes. That in the meantime, that report from Mark Stein says the Warriors believe that they are set up to make a big trade, and that is not a lie. They just have to be patient and see who becomes available. But I think we will get at least one more championship run out of Steph Curry. But one underrated storyline for the Suns is why not blow it up? Because if they could get their picks back, there's some really good talent coming in the NBA draft. In fact, 15 players in the top 75 high school rankings are sons of NBA legends to 15 kids. So I had to look at these top recruits to compare the Suns to their Hall of Fame dads.